She handed him her last $20 through the diner window at sunrise. The man looked half dead against the wall. Zara had rent due in 3 days, but something about how he stared at that cornbread made her stop. The moment hung there, him gripping that money like it might disappear, her already regretting it but unable to take it back. Look, she should have walked away, should have counted her tips and gone straight home. But his eyes, man, his eyes looked empty in a way that made her chest hurt. Welcome to First Epic Tales by Liam. Please like, share, and subscribe for more powerful stories. 6 hours earlier, the Sunrise Diner smelled like burnt coffee and broken dreams. Zara's feet screamed inside her knockoff Nikes. 12 hours into a double shift, the kind of tired that makes your bones ache. She counted tips at the register. $47 for 12 hours of smile and take it while men twice her age called her sweetie and left singles on $20 tabs. The morning light was creeping through the windows, turning everything that ugly orange color. Her manager, Larry, was in the back doing paperwork. The cook had left an hour ago, just her and the empty tables and the smell of old grease. She grabbed her jacket, checked her phone, 3 missed calls from Devon. Her little brother. Well, not so little anymore, 17, and thinks he's grown. Probably got himself into something again. Then she saw him through the window, man slumped against the brick wall outside, dirty clothes, that particular kind of stillness that comes from giving up. The streetlight above him flickering like it was tired too. Zara stopped at the door. She'd seen plenty of homeless folks around Koreatown, usually gave them whatever she could. But rent was due Tuesday. She had $47 to her name until next Friday's check, and Devon needed new shoes because his had holes. The math didn't work, but the man's face, he was staring at the diner window, specifically at the case where they kept the day-old pastries and cornbread, like he was memorizing it. Stupid, she muttered. Pushed open the door anyway. The morning air hit cold. The man didn't move, didn't even look at her. Hey! Her voice sounded too loud in the empty street. He turned his head slow. His eyes were dark. Not just brown, dark, like something had been scooped out and replaced with nothing. But he was young, maybe 30. Korean, she thought. Face too clean under all that dirt. Hands too smooth even with the grime. Something felt off. You hungry? She already knew the answer. He stared at her, didn't speak. Zara pulled out a 20 from her tip money, her last 20, the one she was supposed to use for the electric bill. Then she went back inside and grabbed the last piece of cornbread from the case. Larry wouldn't miss it. She came back out, handed him both. You look like you need this more than I do, ticket. And the man took the money like it was made of glass, looked at her face, then the cornbread, then back at her face. Thank you. His voice came out rough. Accent underneath. Korean, definitely. She nodded, started walking toward the bus stop. Didn't see him watch her go. Didn't see how his eyes changed from empty to something else entirely. The black Mercedes pulled up 3 minutes later, smooth and silent, tinted windows. The man stood up, shook off the dirty outer jacket. Underneath, expensive black shirt, designer jeans. The morning light caught his left arm, tattoo, dragon wrapped around chrysanthemums. The kind of ink that costs more than most people make in a month. The driver got out. Young guy. Sharp suit. Respectful distance. Boss, he said it quiet. Why do you keep doing this? Minho, because that was his real name, Kang Minho, stared at the $20 bill, turned it over in his hands like he'd never seen money before. She gave me her last 20, Taejin. You don't know that. I counted her tips through the window. $47 for a double shift. She gave me almost half. He looked up at his second in command. When's the last time someone gave us anything real? Taejin said nothing. They both knew the answer. Minho carefully folded the bill, put it in his pocket. The cornbread sat wrapped in his other hand. Find out everything about her. Boss, everything. Where she lives, who she takes care of, why a woman working herself to death stops to feed a stranger. His voice came out soft. Dangerous soft. I want to know what kind of person still does that in the city. Taejin nodded, got back in the car. Minho stood there a moment longer, morning sun hitting his face. For the first time in years, something in his chest felt different. Not good, just different. He got in the car. They drove away smooth and quiet, leaving nothing but tire marks and questions. Zara's apartment was the kind of place sunlight made worse. All the cracks showed better in daytime, the thin curtains, the water stains, the way everything leaned slightly left like the building was tired of standing. She unlocked 3 separate locks, stepped inside. Devon was asleep on the couch, still in yesterday's clothes, should have been at school. The bills sat on the counter where she'd left them. Rent notice, final warning on the electric. Devon's school fees 2 months overdue. She walked to the bathroom, looked at herself in the mirror. 26 years old, looked 35, hair pulled back in a bun that had given up hours ago. Dark circles under her eyes that wouldn't leave no matter how much she slept. What were you thinking, girl? But she knew what she was thinking. She was thinking about how that man's eyes looked empty, how he held that money like it was a miracle, how the last time someone looked at her like she mattered, really mattered, was never. Her phone buzzed. Text from Larry. You left the register light on again. Fix it next shift. She didn't respond. Just put the phone down. Counted what she had left. $27 until Friday. The math was going to be ugly. But when she closed her eyes, she saw that man's face. The way the emptiness cracked for just a second when she handed him the cornbread. She didn't regret it. Not yet, anyway. She fell asleep on the bed without taking off her shoes, dreaming about dark eyes that saw too much, about money she didn't have, about rent that wouldn't pay itself. She had no idea she'd just fed the most dangerous man in Koreatown. And honestly, he had no idea someone like her still existed. The door chimed at 2:47 p.m. Zara was wiping down table 6 when she heard it. She looked up, froze. Him, but not him, not the same man. This version wore clothes that cost more than her car. Black button-down, sleeves rolled to the elbows, left arm on full display, that dragon tattoo crawling up to his shoulder, chrysanthemums bleeding into scales. Clean-shaven, hair styled back, eyes still dark but awake now. Predator awake. He walked straight to the counter, sat down. The whole diner shifted around him like gravity changed. Zara's hands went cold. He slid an envelope across the counter. Didn't say anything, just watched her. She stared at it. Didn't touch it. Open it. His voice sounded different in daylight. Smooth, educated. The roughness from yesterday completely gone. Her fingers shook picking it up. Inside, her 20 plus 5 more. $120 total. You gave me something yesterday. I'm returning it with interest. She looked up fast. Who are you really? Does it matter? Yeah. It matters a whole lot, actually. Her voice came out harder than she felt. The Korean ajumas at the corner booth had stopped eating, staring hard, whispering in rapid Korean she could barely follow, but she caught enough. Caught his name. Kang Minho. Kang Minho. Her stomach dropped. Everyone in Koreatown knew that name. You didn't work here without hearing it. The man who controlled things, the one people didn't talk about directly, just around. He turned his head toward the ajumas, said something in Korean that made them go silent immediately. 그녀는 나와 함께했다. She's with me. They looked down at their food fast. He turned back to Zara. You understand Korean. It wasn't a question. Some. My mom taught me before she stopped. Doesn't matter. It does matter. Everything about you matters. The door opened again. 3 men in black suits. They saw Minho, bowed deep, synchronized, respectful, but also scared. Boss, the meeting in 30 minutes? Minho raised one hand. They stopped talking, bowed again, left. Zara's face must have shown everything because he leaned forward slightly. My name is Kang Minho. People call me other things, but that's who I am. Her hand holding the envelope shook harder. I've heard that name. Everyone in Koreatown has heard that name. I won't hurt you. That's not reassuring coming from... She couldn't finish the sentence. From someone like me. He finished it for her. I know what I am, but I can't let you just disappear from my life either. We don't have a life. We had one conversation through a diner window. You gave a stranger your last $20. That means something. It means I'm bad with money. It means you're good. Actually good. And He stopped, seemed to search for words. I forgot people like you existed. Her manager, Mr. Kim, rushed over from the back, started bowing before he even got close. Miss Uteo Gang. Minho looked at him, didn't say anything. Mr. Kim backed away fast. Zara's shift ended in 10 minutes. She knew this. He knew this too, somehow. Let me drive you home. That's a terrible idea. Probably, but I'm asking anyway. She should have said no. Should have walked straight to the bus stop, should have done literally anything except what she did next. Fine, 10 minutes. The Mercedes G-Wagon smelled like leather and money. Zara sat stiff in the passenger seat, afternoon sun coming through tinted windows that made everything feel underwater. Minho drove smooth, confident, like he owned the road. Probably did, in a way. Silence stretched out thick between them. Why me? She finally asked. You could have tested anyone with that money. It wasn't a test. You just said yesterday you counted my tips. You knew I was broke. That sounds like a test. He was quiet for a long moment, stopped at a red light, turned to look at her direct. You didn't hesitate. You looked at me and saw a person, not a problem, not something to step over or ignore, a person. His hands gripped the steering wheel tighter. Do you know how rare that is? In your world, maybe. In every world, trust me. The light turned green. He drove. I don't understand your world, she said quiet. Good. It's not a world anyone should have to understand. But then he said something that made her blood go cold. Your brother Devon. He's been skipping school, takes the bus to Westlake on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Meets with some boys who aren't good for him. She turned in her seat fast. How do you know that? I had someone follow you. You what? I had someone protect you. There's a difference. No, there isn't. Yes, there is. His voice went hard. You have no idea what walks these streets, who's watching, who takes interest in a woman who works 2 shifts and still helps strangers. I made sure nothing happened to you. I didn't ask for that. You gave me $20. I decided you deserved to be safe. They pulled up to her building. Neighbors outside stopped mid-conversation, stared at the G-Wagon like it was a spaceship. He got out, walked around, opened her door. I can open my own door. I know you can. He walked her to the building entrance despite her protest, stood there in the hallway. The afternoon light coming through the dirty windows made his tattoo look alive. Long look that made her stomach flip weird. Then he left. Didn't say goodbye. Just walked back to his car and drove away. Devon came out of his room 2 minutes later, eyes wide. Sis, who the hell was that? She didn't know how to answer. Didn't know if she should. Zara noticed the lock first. 2 days had passed. She came home from the graveyard shift, sun barely up, and her apartment door looked different. New lock, professional, the kind that costs more than her monthly grocery budget. Envelope taped next to it. She ripped it open. Inside, a note in Korean and English. Clean handwriting. You deserve to feel safe, M. 2 keys inside. Her hands went numb holding them. Footsteps on the stairs. She turned fast. Devon, walking up with his backpack. But he wasn't alone. Minho was right behind him, not touching, not threatening, just talking. Normal conversation like they were old friends. And honestly, community college isn't a bad move if you're not sure what you want yet. Cheaper. Lets you figure things out. Devon nodded, looked thoughtful. They reached the landing. Minho saw Zara. Devon saw her face. Sis, he was just, go inside, Dev. Her brother looked between them. Went inside without arguing. First time in months he listened without a fight. Minho stood there, hands in his pockets, that tattoo visible under his rolled sleeves. You can't just... She held up the keys. Fix my life without asking. I can't watch you struggle when I can help. That's not how this works. Then tell me how it works. Because I don't know. His voice came out genuine, lost. I don't know how to do this. Any of this. She wanted to be angry, wanted to yell at him for overstepping, for making decisions about her life, for following her brother home from school probably. But he looked so honestly confused standing there in the morning light, like he'd learned every language except the one that mattered. You ask first, that's how it works. You ask if I want help before you just do things. Okay, can I help you? It's too late, you already did. Then can I keep helping you? The question sat between them heavy. I don't know, she said finally. I don't know what you want from me. Nothing. I want to give you things. That's different. Nobody gives things for free, especially not people like you. That landed? She saw it hit. His jaw tightened. You're right. People like me always want something. He took a step back toward the stairs. But maybe I'm trying to be different. Maybe you make me want to try. He left before she could respond. She stood there holding the keys, feeling things she had no business feeling. Lunch rush at the diner. Zara looked up from taking an order and saw him, across the street, not hiding, just standing there in full daylight. Black shirt, tattoo visible, watching. She finished the order, marched outside during her break. The sidewalk was busy, people walking past. He stood still while the world moved around him. Why are you here? Making sure you're safe? Or making sure I can't run? Long pause. Cars passing between them. Sun bright and hot. Maybe both. I don't know how to do this. Do what? Care about someone without controlling them. I don't have a good track record. She crossed her arms. So you just stand outside my job like a creep? I'm not good at subtle. Clearly. But something in his honesty made her chest hurt. He wasn't trying to be smooth, wasn't trying to manipulate. He was just present, awkward, human. What do you want from me? She asked again. Needed to hear it. I want to know what you dream about, beyond this diner, beyond making rent. What would you do if money wasn't a problem? The question caught her off guard. Why does that matter? Because I have money, more than I can spend, and I don't have dreams anymore, so I want to know what yours are. She shouldn't have answered, but she did anyway. I want to open a community cafe for kids like Devon, somewhere safe where they can just exist without judgment, do homework, eat good food, not have to choose between the streets and nothing. His whole face changed. Something dark passed through his eyes. That's the most dangerous thing you could want. Oui, Sue. Because it's pure, and pure things get destroyed in the city. I've seen it happen. Then maybe you've been in the wrong parts of the city. He stared at her like she'd said something impossible, like she'd spoken a language he'd forgotten existed. Come to lunch with me. I'm working. Your break is 30 minutes. I know this because I asked Mr. Kim yesterday. He gave you 45 minutes today. I asked him to. You can't just... I know, I should ask first. He looked at her direct. Will you have lunch with me, please? The please did it. Sounded foreign in his mouth, like a word he'd never used. Okay, but somewhere close. The fusion spot was 3 blocks away, Soul Kitchen, Korean food mixed with Southern comfort, big windows, bright interior. She'd walked past it 100 times, never gone in. Too expensive. They sat by the window, ordered. The food came fast. Kimchi mac and cheese, bulgogi sliders, collard greens with gochugaru. She ate. He watched her eat. You're not eating? I like watching you enjoy things. That's weird. I know. But she smiled a little. Couldn't help it. The conversation flowed easier than before. He asked questions, actually listened to the answers, didn't talk about himself unless she asked. When she asked about the tattoo, the dragon wrapped in flowers, his face went somewhere else. The dragon is what I became. The chrysanthemums are what I killed to become it. Heavy silence. The restaurant noise faded. You don't have to stay that version of yourself, she said soft. Yes, I do, but I can make sure you never have to become one. Intense eye contact across the table. Sun streaming through the window. Real moment of connection happening that scared them both. He reached for her hand across the table, stopped himself halfway, fingers hovering. I should go, before I make this worse than it already is. He paid, left, cash. Walked out into the afternoon sun without looking back. She sat there alone, finished her food, pulled out her phone, texted, "Thank you for the lock and the conversation." His response came back instantly. "I'm not good for you." Her fingers hovered. She typed, "I know." Hit send anyway. 1 week. That's how long it took for everything to shift. Minho texted her an address, penthouse in downtown, told her to come at sunset. She went, against every logical thought in her head. The elevator ride up felt endless. Mirrored walls showing her reflection. Work clothes, tired eyes. No business being here. The doors opened to floor-to-ceiling windows. City spread below like something out of a movie. Golden light everywhere. He stood by the window, turned when she entered. Why am I here? Because you're the only person who makes me want to be different. The words hung there, Raw, no games. She walked closer, slow steps on marble floors that probably cost more than her yearly salary. Different how? He turned fully. The sunset light hit his face. His tattoo made everything sharp and beautiful and sad. My father built this organization, died when I was 22, left me a war disguised as a legacy. His voice came out flat, practiced, like he'd said this before but never meant it until now. I hate what I became, but people depend on this structure for protection. You're not stuck. You're choosing to be stuck. It's not that simple. It never is. She closed the distance, stood right in front of him. But that doesn't make it impossible. She touched his tattooed arm, traced the dragon's scales with her fingertips. This doesn't define you. Something broke in him. She saw it happen, the armor cracking. He kissed her, desperate but gentle, like he was afraid she'd disappear. She kissed back, hands in his hair, pressed against him. When they pulled apart, foreheads touching, his voice came out cracked. I want to leave it all, for you. Don't promise things you can't. I mean it, let me try. The golden light streaming in. First peace either of them had felt in years. Breathing the same air, existing in the same moment. Okay, she whispered. Try. Next morning came too fast. Minho's office, large windows, early light harsh and unforgiving. Taejin sat across from him. 5 other lieutenants lined against the wall. Emergency meeting. Minho stood. The room went silent. I'm stepping down. Taejin takes over. Chaos. Immediate. Voices rising. You can't. Boss, this isn't. What about the... Taejin stood up slow, face unreadable. Brother, you can't. The Choi Syndicate is moving on our western territory. The Russians are testing our borders. You leave now, we're vulnerable. That's why I'm giving you 3 months transition. 3 months? Another lieutenant stepped forward. Boss, we need years. You built this infrastructure, the alliances, the balance. You pull out now, everything collapses. My decision is final. Taejin's face went cold. Expression Minho had only seen twice before, both times before violence. Then you're not thinking clearly, and maybe you shouldn't be making decisions. The room froze. Everyone felt it. The shift. Are you challenging me? I'm protecting what you built, even from you. Silence stretched. Dangerous. Minho's jaw clenched. Meeting over. Get out. They filed out. Taejin last. Stopped at the door. I love you, brother, but love doesn't keep people alive. Door closed. Minho sat alone, pulled out his phone, called Zara. It's harder than I thought. Her voice came through, soft. I know, but hard doesn't mean impossible. He wanted to believe her. 2 days later, afternoon, Zara left the diner, exhausted, thinking about Minho, about whether this was real or stupid or both. Black car pulled up, not his. Wrong model, wrong color. 2 men got out. Suits, not threatening yet, just standing there. She froze. Every instinct screaming. 1 man smiled. Polite. Cold. Tell your boyfriend the Choi family sends regards. They got back in the car. Drove away slow, deliberate. Zara's hands shook, pulling out her phone. Called Minho. He answered first ring. What's wrong? There were men. They said the Choi family sends regards. Did they touch you? No, but... Stay there. Don't move. I'm coming. He arrived in 4 minutes. Screeching tires, jumped out of the car like it was on fire. Did they touch you? You already asked that. I need to hear it again. No, they just talked. He was already on the phone with Taejin. I want every man we have on her. Now, every corner she walks, every bus she takes, everything hung up. Looked at her, fury and fear mixing in his eyes. This is what I was afraid of. They smell weakness. They think I'm distracted. So what do we do? I don't know. First time she'd heard him say those words. If I leave, you're more vulnerable. If I stay, you're still a target. Real helplessness on his face. She'd never seen him like this. Maybe we both need to leave, together, just disappear. It's not that easy. Then make it easy. But his face said everything. Said it was impossible, said the world didn't work that way, said they were trapped. That night, Minho's apartment, evening light fading to darkness, knock on the door. Taejin entered without waiting. The Choi family made a move on our warehouse. 3 of our people are in the hospital. Minho stood fast. What? This is what happens when the king hesitates. When word spreads, you're leaving for a woman. Taejin's voice stayed level. Facts, no judgment. You step down now, people die. Not just our people. Innocent people in our territory who depend on the order we maintain. Long silence, city lights flickering on outside. Minho's hands clenched into fists. I can't keep doing this. I know you want out, brother, but not like this. Not in chaos. Taejin left, door closing soft. Minho stood alone, head in his hands. Phone buzzed. Zara. Are you okay? He stared at the message. 3 words. Simple question. Answer so complicated it hurt. He didn't respond. First time he hadn't. Just stood there on the balcony, staring at the city, trying to figure out how to leave a burning building without letting everyone inside die. He had no idea if it was even possible. 7 days of silence. Zara went to work, came home, noticed the security, distant but there. Minho's people, protecting her from shadows, but not him, never him. Devon noticed. You okay? No. 8th day, lunch rush, door opened. Minho walked in looking like he hadn't slept in a week. She was cold. Now you show up? Can we talk? You had a week to talk. They went outside, bright sidewalk, people passing. Normal world continuing while theirs fell apart. The Choi family escalated, 2 more incidents. Taejin's right. If I leave now, it falls apart. People get hurt. So what are you saying? I'm saying I need more time to what? You promised me. Her voice cracked. You don't get to make me believe in something and then take it back. I know. No, you don't. Tears now. Angry ones. I've spent my whole life taking care of everyone else. For once, I wanted someone to choose me. Actually choose me. I am choosing you. Then prove it. Not with words. With action. She walked back inside, left him standing there in the sun. That night, same office, same people, different Minho. I'm leaving in 2 weeks, not 3 months, 2 weeks. Chaos again. But he talked over it. I've made my decision. You handle the Choi family now, not later, now. Show strength before I leave. He stared down every person. I've given 10 years. That's enough. Taejin stepped forward. This is reckless. This is final. Anyone who can't accept this can leave. No one moved. You really love her that much? Taejin asked quietly. I love myself enough to want better. She just reminded me that was possible. Taejin nodded slow. 2 weeks. We'll make it work. Next 10 days blurred together. Minho dismantled his empire piece by piece. Signed assets over. Restructured leadership. Burned documents in bright daylight. But complications hit hard. The Choi family attacked again. Minho responded with force one last time. Came to Zara after with shaking hands. I had to protect people. She held him. I know, but this is the last time, right? The last time. One lieutenant tried to leave with money. Minho exiled him instead of worse. I'm trying to be different. Taejin pulled him aside, day 12. Contract's out on you, not huge, but it exists. Let it exist, I'll deal with it after. Zara asked him that night. Are you sure? I've never been more sure and more terrified of anything. Day 14, early morning, final meeting, Minho in a suit. Tattoo visible. Handed everything to Taejin officially. It's yours now, all of it. They embraced, brothers saying goodbye. Minho walked out into bright morning light. Zara waited at the bottom steps, small bag packed for both. I did it. You did it. Black cars pulled up, unknown. Zara tensed. Minho stepped in front of her, window rolled down, older Korean man. Mr. Kang, I wanted to meet the man who walked away. Who are you? Someone who did what you're doing 20 years ago. Wanted to tell you, it's possible, it's hard, but it's possible. Good luck. Window rolled up, drove away. They stared at each other. What was that? Hope, I think. They got in their car, drove north. 3 months later, small beach town, modest apartment, morning light through cheap curtains, Minho working at an auto shop, Zara at a cafe. But it wasn't perfect. He woke up screaming some nights, struggled with normal life. How do people just exist? One day at a time, someone recognized his tattoo at work. Hey, aren't you? Minho froze. Guy backed off fast. Never mind. Minho came home shaken. Zara held him. Talk to me. I don't know if I can do this. Be normal. You don't have to be normal. You just have to be here with me. Devon visited, saw the struggle. Is he okay? He's trying to be. Are you okay? I'm trying to be too. It was messy, but they were fighting for it. 6 months later, afternoon, their cafe, small space, opens tomorrow. Final preparations. Black car pulled up. Zara's heart dropped. Taejin got out. Hands up, peaceful. Minho tensed. What do you want? To see if you're alive, and envelope. You're cut from the last asset sale. I don't want it. Then give it to her dream, nodded at the cafe. The Choi situation is handled. The contract's dead. You're free, brother, actually free. Why tell me this? Because you did it. You got out clean, looked at Zara. Take care of him. He's softer than he looks. Taejin left. Minho stood there, started crying. Relief and grief and everything. She held him. You're free, we're free. Opening day, bright morning, cafe opened, Korean soul fusion, pictures on walls, kids coming in after school, Minho behind counter, tattoo visible, not hiding, helping a kid with homework. Zara watched him. He's becoming who he was supposed to be. End of first day, golden evening light, walking home hand in hand. Any regrets? He looked at his tattooed arm. Only that it took me this long to choose life. Pulled out that original $20 bill, preserved. You gave me this a year ago. You gave me way more than money. Simple ring. Zara Williams. Will you marry a man still figuring out how to be good? Yes, you idiot. Obviously, yes. He slid the ring on, kissed her. First time he looked completely at peace. Sun setting bright. Them walking home. A $20 bill and a piece of cornbread. That's all it took to save 2 lives drowning in different oceans. Turns out kindness is the strongest currency there is. If this story reminded you why small acts matter, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you want more stories about second chances and real redemption, subscribe. Because everyone deserves a story where they get to start over. What's the smallest act of kindness that changed your life? Tell me in the comments below.